Hi, it's Sue Williams here. Today we're going to talk about the value of transitions in your ranch riding. Now, for those of you that don't understand how ranch riding is scored, you are scored on manoeuvres, which means the change in your paces. So, for example, in a ranch riding pattern, you will be required to walk, you will be required to trot, extended trot, canter, extended canter, back to, you may even be asked to side pass, and you may be asked to do turnarounds or spins. Usually there's only one spin, sometimes two in a pattern, depends, but it's not four like a reining, an NRHA reining spin. So what I want to explain to you and make you understand is every single manoeuvre has a score attached to it. So your walk and the correctness of the walk is judged equally as important as a flying lead change. Okay? So they're scored as part of your pattern. So, and a score in ranch riding, a correct score is a 0. So the range is between 0 being correct, plus and minus half, plus and minus 1, and plus and minus 1.5. So they're your manoeuvre range for the judge to use. So if you do a lovely forward moving walk, ears are up, neck's level, horse looks like he's happy going where he's going, you could get a plus half, plus 1, plus 1.5 if it's a really good one. Okay? So if it's bad and if it's just like a little pokey walk that you're just not going anywhere, keep in mind this is a ranch horse. You've got to be travelling. It's a forward moving event. If it's a slow sort of walk that's taking you nowhere, you'll get a minus half because it's not correct. Okay? So understand the manoeuvres. Penalties are separate. Penalties are mistakes. So for example, if you're walking and your horse breaks into a jog when he's supposed to be walking, that will be a penalty. So even though you might get a 0 or a plus half for your walk manoeuvre, you will still, because you had a break of gait, you will get a penalty above that in the penalty box. Okay, and it's all worked out at the end of all the manoeuvres. So without going into too much detail and boring you witless, that's when I talk about manoeuvres, that is your change of pace. When I talk about penalties, that is the mistakes that you make. The secret with this, as it is with reining, ride penalty free. So if you can avoid penalties and you need to go on the AQHA website, it's listed there, or go to the Australian Ranch Horse, I think there's penalties listed there. So go and do a little bit of research so you know what penalties that you've got to avoid. And if you can ride penalty free and you got 0 for 7 manoeuvres, you're on a 70, which would win you a class in a small show. So think about the penalties, think about the manoeuvres, and we'll demonstrate shortly the difference, and so you can visually see what I'm talking about. So firstly, the walk. Again, we're looking for a forward moving walk with no break of gait. So you don't want the horse even astride into the jog. It's a forward moving walk. So just take your horse to the extent that you know you're safe at. So if your horse isn't a great walker, you know that's something you need to work on at home. Make him walk forward, but also at the show, don't push it beyond your horse's limits. Okay, you don't want penalties. Remember, ride penalty free. So I'm going to demonstrate what is probably a minus half walk, and then I'm going to show you just a correct walk. Now, any extension on that is if the horse is a better walker than this horse, maybe a plus half, or this horse might be a plus half. Again, different judges have different benchmarks, for want of a better word. They've got their rules, but you will find what one judge may place as a 0 or put as a 0, another judge might like it as a plus half. That's acceptable, because all the way through those manoeuvres, the judges will be, you'll get one judge that's a little bit tougher than another judge. But at the end of the day, the results will be the same. okay? The scores might be a little bit higher at the end of the day on one judge than the other, but you will find most times your judges are consistent with their scoring. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate a minus half walk. So we're going to start at these cones. Okay, so the start of the pattern says walk, you know, till you're supposed to jog. So I'm going to do horse is crooked, not correct, not walking forward, minus half, at least. Okay, I'm just going to turn around for the sake of the video, and we're going to ask for a more correct walk. And again, it needs to be just a tad more forward than that, without break of gait. And again, you need to know your horse's limits. When you can push it, break of gait, penalty. Break of gate, penalty. Cut a forward, moving walk. Horse needs to be alert. And walking forward, freely walking forward. Stride long and going forward, moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. So now we're going to do the trot. Now, again, remember, it's a manoeuvre all on its own, and the transition from the walk to the trot is what the judge will be looking for. So it's a nice, smooth, from a walk straight to a trot, a sit trot. So the pattern will say trot, or it might even say jog, but it's not a pleasure jog, it's a forward sit trot. Then they'll ask for maybe an extended trot at some point in the pattern. So I'm going to demonstrate the two. I might even demonstrate the pleasure jog, which is not desirable. So that would score you a minus half or a minus one, depending on the judge, okay? It's not correct. So I'll just demonstrate and you might be able to see.